All right, so we got a 2008 Polaris Sportsman 300. As you can see, it needs a lot of work. Uh, Plastics are missing. The seat cover, it needs a new seat cover. The department up front is missing. There was a battery in it, but I took it out because it was completely dead. The battery wasn't even charging anyways, so I do need to get a new battery. The tires are brand new at least, so that is a plus. Plastic's missing on the sides, on both sides. And we got a lot of steering wheel slop, which is, I believe, a bushing. So that's toast. Goes through the gears, has the pull start. So most of the plastics are there, but not fully intact, just by clips. Tires are pretty flat, so there probably is a slow leak. I believe this is the choke up here, which is missing the lever. One of the biggest things that is wrong with it is that it does not start right now because the spark plug is out. I guess the dude took it out, or it was sitting and his brother took it out for his quad, and he ended up never putting it back in. But essentially what he told me is that the reason why it sat and he put it away was because of, I guess he was riding down the road and one of the control arms snapped and the CV axle came out and broke. So I got it held up by a tie down so I can move it around. And yeah, he said it ran great and everything. I got it for a pretty decent price, I believe, or I would say, for what it is, I guess. Did come with a title, so that's good. And I got it for a whopping $300. So I feel like $300 is pretty good. $100 for, or a dollar every cc, so 300 cc, $300. I feel like that's a pretty good price. I mean, it looks to be in fair condition. Everything is pretty intact besides the control arms and the CV axles. And of course the plastics and everything, which the plastics can add up really quick. But let me just get y'all in here and show y'all, because it's kind of hard to pinpoint out what it needs while y'all can't see it. So plastics missing. Upper compartment in the front is missing. Like I said, the choke is missing the lever here. All the buttons move. Kill switch. This one might be an override. Yeah. Speedo reverse override. Don't know if this works or the lights up here work. Not sure. The cable for the throttle feels kind of crunchy. No, it's not smooth. So I will be taking the carburetor out and cleaning that. No battery, of course, goes right here. All the connections are pretty rusted out. This is for the LED lights in the front. That only has one. I'll probably end up just taking those off, and hopefully the regular lights work. Mounting for the headlight could be better. Yeah, the slot for the steering, really loose. Brand new Sun F tires. So I feel like it was running, and he was saying, being honest, about him riding it before it crapped out and broke the control arm and the CV axle. Hopefully not a lot of moisture got inside that differential and started rusting things out. I really hope not. But that is open. I stuck a rag where the spark plug hole's at, because that was completely open. Hopefully no trash got in there and moisture and started rusting things out. So this is where we at. It's gonna need quite a bit of work, but at least I know I can get it running with everything I have. We can take the seat off. Ripping the seat right there. I'm not a big fan of the camouflage seat cover, so I will get a new one. Airbox is here with a dirty air filter, and it's like super. It's pretty loose on there. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be on there or what, but it's pretty loose. Hopefully nothing got sucked in there. Carburetor is right here. Everything looks pretty good. It's starting to crack at the boot right there, which I did see before. I did order ahead of time, and I got a new boot because I believe on the underside of this boot is completely ripped, and you can see through it and everything. So I did get a new boot, so at least I can get it running today. You know, if it doesn't have low compression, that is. Check the gas. I think it might be completely dry. Yeah. Seems to be completely dry, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of gas comes out of there when we take the gas line off. Key is there. No start button. We just turn the key to start it. This is actually my first Sportsman Polaris 300. I usually have like a 500. I just got this thing for a good deal with title. He actually had a poster for like I think 500 or 700. I ended up going down in Texas to pick it up, and got him down to like 400, I believe, and noticed what was wrong with it and kind of nitpicked at the price and got him down to 300. He said he was done with Marketplace and he was tired of messing with the people on there and people flaking on him trying to meet. So he told me, since you're already here, and I told him I'm already here, we can do 300 cash, and we got it. I mean, hopefully it doesn't need a rebuild. It is pretty filthy. Both CV axles I think are pretty loose. Yeah, so might need both CV axles in the front. I'm gonna price out the storage compartment up here. I think it's just a cover, top cover. Hopefully we got something on eBay that is fairly cheap. I know plastics can add up really quickly. Hopefully I can find those side covers too. We will see. Here's the underside. Here's all the information right here. Now you can see the spark plug, the oil type, and everything. I don't see the VIN on it though, but I do have the title. Not sure. Might be in a different location. Maybe on the frame somewhere. It'll probably say it. Usually it does. I just don't know where exactly. But if I end up seeing it, I will show where I found it. I think I found it at one point. I just don't remember where. Yeah, that's okay. What I want to do first is get some like WD-40 in that hole right there. But first, before I do that, I want to get some air and dust it out, just in case a lot of dust got in there or something like that. So I don't know how long it was sitting really before I got it, and I don't want to turn the motor with a bunch of crap in there and scrape up the cylinder walls or something like that, and something I can avoid. I did get a new air filter as well ahead of time, so that is good. Yeah, enough talking here. I'm kind of rambling, but let's go ahead and get some air in that cylinder and dust it out. We got the air compressor out here. Okay. Let's go ahead and spray around here. And spray inside. do have the spark plug. I also don't even know if it has spark or not. We might be in trouble. I don't know if it has all that. Found her. Bingo. Alright, so we got the NGK CR8EB. Got WD-40 going in there. Got the battery jumper here. Positive, negative. All right. Let's see if we can get anything up here. Ooh, we do. I didn't know that worked. Okay, nice. We got neutral. Looks like 3,240 miles. I don't think it shows the hours. There is no button. No button for it. But we do got neutral, so that's nice. We can see if we can give it a turn. Yeah, I don't know if that's turning. I don't sound like it. The one-way bearing or something for the starter is out. Let's see if we can get the pull start on there. See if that does anything. Oh yeah. Okay. Well. Just see if we got spark. Ooh, I don't know. I can't tell. Oh, yep. All right. It's hard to tell. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Let's see. I don't know if you can see it, but we do got spark. That's good. What else we got to do? The starter though, I don't know why it's not grabbing. Could be the one-way bearing. It sounds very crunchy. So that's a big possibility. That could be the one-way bearing. So we can still get it running though with the pull start. We'll just do it like that. I guess for now, let's just get that carburetor out. Oh yeah, let me show you the oil. It does have oil. Super black. It's a little low. Hopefully it doesn't burn any oil. I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's start getting this carburetor off. Let's see if any fuel comes out of the lines. Let's just get this off first. It'd be a lot easier. So the air filter was really dirty. There's some stuff in there. Oof. I don't know. It's kind of questionable. Look how dirty this thing is. Very nasty. Even inside the boot is dirty, and with it having a crack right there, if you ran it like that, there's a possibility that it did suck in some dirt. So we'll just cross our fingers and hope for the best. I'm just gonna take the rear plastics off. This has to come off. Aha, looking good. Looking really nice. Pretty open. Really dirty. I'll probably give this a wash before I put the plastics back on. And I hope the belt's good because this is a huge cover. And I also don't want to have more money into it. Well, I've seen a lot of dirt. I hope it didn't suck anything in. Even the carburetor is a little dirty. Oh. Yep, it's freaking dusty in there, dude. Jeez Louise. What did I buy? Hopefully this carburetor can come out because it's not looking pretty. There's barely any room to get this carburetor out. Barely any. Because there's so much dirt in there. Now we got room. Nice, okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Carburetor is off. No, it's kind of funny. Kind of funny. He had a screw in the drain hole, the overflow hole. So maybe it was dripping gas. Not sure. Maybe the floats got stuck or something like that. But yeah, we're gonna see what it looks like inside. I have a feeling it's gonna be quite dirty, but we're gonna find out. So let's get this set up on a table. See what carburetor on the bench. So you can see it's quite dirty. This is the air filter side, and there's a bunch of dirt in there. Diaphragm seems to be working good. Slides really good. You can see it's really dirty in here where the throttle cable is at. Looks like idle was almost completely down. There's no gas in there, so don't know if this is the stock carburetor or not, but the dude said it was running before that, so we'll see. Yeah, it looks like carburetor was messed with at one point. Can't even get that off. I do want to get this off though. Wow. Super hard. Can't even get that out. Well, at least now we can see if it's leaking or not from the overflow. Let's see if we can get these off right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. These weren't stripped either, so I looks like wasn't over tightened at one point or anything like that. It's fairly clean looking in there. Not that bad, really. Pretty clean, actually. Maybe this guy was running 100% fuel because look how clean that looks in there. Looks like a 145 main. Looks like the fluid gets stuck in.
Diaphragm's coming out.
Oof. Very dirty in there. Got the notch on the third clip from the top. Really dirty in here. So we can get that cleaned up. Here it is inside here. Very dirty, nasty, and crusty. A lot of dirt. Hopefully it did get sucked up, but it's a big possibility. Probably through here. This port goes all the way from the top right here. So I'm gonna take this jet out right there just in case if it is dirty or not. Jet is not dirty. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna get this all sprayed up and cleaned up and put back on the quad. I'm gonna check the fuel now. I'm sure the gas is pretty dirty. If there's some in there. It looks like there is some in there from the filter. Let's go ahead and turn it on. See if we can get anything. The gas tank could be empty. As you can see, it is pretty yellow. So, got the carburetor on. Did not want to stay idling or even rev up at all. And it was leaking really bad off the overflow on the carburetor. But I ended up taking that back off, and actually the new boot that I got for the air box actually doesn't fit. It's a little too short and it's not angled correctly. So it's like halfway on the rear plastics. You can see here the bolts holds it right here, and the plastics are pushed forward, so I'm not able to fully put this on. And then so since it's so far forward, it's actually hitting the exhaust, so that will probably melt after a while. Like the top there, it'll probably look like that if I keep it like this. So I have to go with the OEM boot. I believe they're like way more expensive than these aftermarket ones, but apparently these aftermarket ones don't fit correctly. It does go on, but like I said, the plastics are pushed forward, and I mean, it worked for now, just for me to get it running. So the OEM ones are like 60 bucks, and that's used. I've even priced out new ones, so it's gonna be a little pricey for that, but it is definitely needed, because this is the old boot and it's very ripped. The intake boot's good, but other than that, the carburetor was put on the first time and it was leaking a lot, and did not want to idle or anything, or barely even start. So what I ended up doing was taking the carburetor back off and pulling in the fuel screw one turn, so we're out one turn. It was out 2 turns, but now we're back in 1 turn. So this is a Chinese aftermarket carburetor, so it is going to be tuned a little differently. And it has, I believe it has bigger jets in it as well, you know, 145 main instead of the 140, and I believe a bigger pilot as well. So it was getting too much fuel, and the spark plug was actually, you know, sooty and black, so it was getting way too much fuel and wasn't able to burn it, not enough air. So fuel screw in a little bit, starts up pretty good now for first pull on the pull start. The starter button does not work. It needs the little gear in here, because it just spins, it doesn't grab the flywheel. So let me just show you how that does work. And it is getting gas. These fuel pumps for these, they're actually vacuum driven from the engine. I had to put some fuel in the carburetor manually, so I took off the fuel line and put it inside there like that. And then the float height was not in spec. It was, had to pull the tab out a little bit so it was more even with the body of the carburetor, so now it does not leak. Fuel's getting to it right now. I did have it started earlier, so let's just see how good it starts up now. Got my jumper box on there, should be good to go. Yeah, so you are getting power, you know, it just spins if I do this. So that's just a gear right there for the starter to engage the flywheel. But the pull start does work. Let's give it a go. Does not leak. Work. The aftermarket ones don't work, but yeah, she runs pretty good and revs out pretty good. I wouldn't run it too long either, because it is air cooled, and I believe the oil is a little bit low. So take that off of there. So tuning wise, we're getting pretty close. I might need a little bit more tuning on the carburetor, just slightly, but at least I do have it running. I do have that new spark plug in there. So now I can go ahead and order the plastic pieces for the sides. What else? The new boot, the OEM style, so it actually fits. All the control arms, so control arm on the axles, I need to get those too. And I need to get a battery for it as well. And then also the steering bushing is toast. So yeah, everything seems to be running pretty good. I have not tried to put it in gear or anything, but I know it does run. So that is a plus. But I guess I could start it and try to put it in gear. I don't know if it's idling too high though. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Let's try. Might be idling too high to put it in gear. Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're in reverse. Yep. Forward. Yeah. So it is running and driving. So let me order about the parts. Not sure how much it's gonna be. So I'm very excited about this one. So $300. Pretty much just clean the carburetor and got the new boot for now. And it does run and drive, so until then, let me get the parts ordered. Got a few parts in. Had to wait like a week and a half, but as you can see, I got the tie downs holding up the control arm, kind of keeping it out of the way so I can move it around my carport area. But I got the new lower ball joints, which I don't have a press, so I'm gonna have to get them out somehow, bang them out with a hammer or something. But we're gonna see if we can get those out. I also got new CV axles for the front. As you can see, the right one's pulled out, or the left one is pulled out. Jack up the front, take the wheel off, and see if we can get that lower ball joint out of there. I believe it's held on by a C-clamp or a C-clip. And we're gonna see if we can get it off. Hopefully it's not seized on there too bad. Boom. Yeah, that seems good. Not a play in there. I can grease this up after I take this out. We got it out. That's just the remaining of the ball joint. I just got me a 15/16 socket. Fit it right in that circle piece right there and hit it out with the hammer. Just like that. So you got a lip on it, socket. Just hit it with the hammer out. Of course, after you get that circlip out, or else it's not gonna move. So that is out. Let's see how good the new ones fit in. Here's the ball joint. Looks pretty similar. This is all there. Obviously it's new, but on the other one it's broken off. It's actually still in the knuckle, and that's really easy to come off. So I'll show you how to do that. Then there's the C-clip that it comes with, so we don't gotta salvage the old one. Let me put this one in. See how much of a pain it is. Hopefully not too bad. So it looks like it is gonna fit. I just kind of push it on there for now, and then find another socket that kind of meets around the ring right here, so you're not beating this in just with a hammer. Because I do not have a press, so I'm gonna be using a hammer. So we'll find a socket for that. I ended up just beating up the hammer because I don't have a big enough socket to go around there. But it's on there though, and it didn't really do that much damage. You just hit it pretty straight on. I just need to put that circlip on there. Right there, you see the lip right there. I'll put that on, and this one should be good to go to put back on. Or I think I'm gonna get to the axle next.
She's in. There you go. There we go. So that's what's left of it. So this we get the idea. It goes in there, but it's trash. We got a washer, and it should come right out. Bingo. All right, there is the axle. Can't imagine how hard it is going to be to pull it out, because sometimes these rings right here, these get stuck in there and seized in there. There's a bunch of water and moisture inside there. So we'll see if it's stuck on there. I'm sure we can get it out anyways, but let's put this side on.
That's nice. Did you? I tried to put the gas in before and that was a lot more difficult than that. I had to lean in with the hammer on this side to push it in there, so that's nice. Okay. Yeah, it goes in. That's just supposed to be. Let's get this scratched off. And this, just like that.
Alright, we finally got her out. Have to play inside this thing. Yeah, it's just not good, but we'll beat this out. Same process as last time. One's on, super sturdy, no movement at all. This one was actually a lot easier to push on there than the other one was, so yeah, this one's, it's all fitting pretty good, relatively cheap on eBay, so let's put this back on.
Everything's tightened up. Of course, those brakes in front.
So some parts did come in. I did notice that the breather for the inlet on the clutch was cracked. The whole rubber was split in half. So when I took off that whole snorkel piece, pretty much just came off without me even having to unscrew the clamps there. But that's a new rubber coupling there. But it's not the OEM style. It's kind of like an aftermarket one, but I couldn't find a part number for it, and a lot of the parts are not available for this machine for some reason. But ended up buying this. I was hoping it was gonna fit. It is a little small, but I kind of stretched it on there, so it might end up breaking prematurely. But in the meantime, I guess it'll work. It was pretty cheap, so I do have to try to fit that snorkel piece in there. That's gonna be a hassle. But I did get a new OEM style intake boot for the airbox because the other one was not the right angle and fitment. So I think I'm gonna get this on first, the snorkel piece, and then I put that boot in the airbox and everything. So the airbox is pretty much the whole back plastic. So I'm gonna do that snorkel piece first, and then we'll get to the whole back plastic and everything. And I do have the storage compartment cover here that covers the battery and both storage compartments in the front. This one's kind of bent, the bracket here, which I think it came with new brackets. So I'm gonna have to take this front cover off so I can mount the new brackets in there. So it mounts onto there and it pivots forward, kind of like a Corvette style hood, if you know what I mean. All the gaskets are in there, so I didn't have to get new of those. And I'm still waiting for the bushing on the steering stem. Apparently it got lost in the mail and I had to order up a new one. So that stuff happens. But I do want to get this all back together so I can power wash it and everything else. And I do have a starter Bendix for it. It goes in here because it does not want to start with the starter button. It just kind of spins and doesn't grab the flywheel. So it was hard trying to find one of those, and these aftermarket ones are hit or miss. So I'm gonna have to see if the one I got is gonna work. If not, I'm gonna send it back, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to look further. But I've been looking for a decent amount of time, and we'll see if it works. Pull starter does work though, as you've seen. It did start earlier. So I'm gonna get it back together. This is the OEM boot for the airbox. Part number 5412822. I believe I got it on eBay or so, but here's the aftermarket one. Here's the OEM one. So you see the curve on it? You know, I thought it'd flex and be long enough and reach it, but it is not. So you see here the mounting. So this mounts to the plastic piece on the airbox, and this is the mounting piece too as well. So you can see right even there, it's about too short. That's literally like how much I need to bolt the back bolts in to line up with the holes. So the back plastic was pushed forward. It wasn't angled correctly. Let's see. There's like a little slant on the mount here, and this is just pretty much straight, no slant. So that's the difference. These ones say they fit, but they do not fit. Unless you want to modify the plastics and not have it bolt together, then I guess it's fine, and it will fit. But OEM, I want everything bolted up exactly how it came, so that's what I went with. A lot more expensive, like 4 times as much, or 5 times. This is like 50, 60 bucks just for a rubber piece. This is like what, 10, 15 bucks? So no bueno. I can't return this either because I don't have the plastics to return it in, so can't do that. I mean, 10, 15 bucks is no biggie. It all adds up though, but maybe I can use this for something else. I just put it in my inventory, I guess. But I'm going to take this off,
put it in the air box here in the plastic. These don't have a gasket in there. That's why it gets so rusted in there. You see all the corrosion of rust. See, that's working. You see how that air comes out of there? It grabs these. See, this thing's stuck in there. I don't know if I can get it out. But not locked up. Rod's good. Yeah, that thing's locked solid. You can't turn it. You can't do anything. It's supposed to turn and stand outwards, but see, the shaft here is stuck inside the case. Man, I hope it's the right one. Starter looks fine though. There we go. Solid. Does not open. Seized. So I'll show you the new one. We'll kind of compare it. Hopefully it's the same. I don't know. Here's what the new one looks like. See, it opens up and it turns. The starter doesn't go the other way, so it's supposed to be not seized up. Compare the two. Looks very similar. It's kind of missing this washer here. Wondering if I need this. The new one wasn't working, so I ended up trying to fix the old one, and I got it to work now. So it was super seized up, it wasn't turning. This was not going in. That's pretty much what I did, which got a socket, a deep socket that fit around here, got a hammer, just hit it in, and I ended up freeing that up. Spray it off with like W40, brake clean, and ended up coming loose and working. So I guess you can kind of get away with that sometimes. And now I can return the other one and get some money back. So we'll try to put this one back in, see if the starter engages, and see what happens. I'm curious to see if that works now, so I'm gonna get a jumper pack on it, see if we get the start button to work. I'm really hoping this works. Let's find out. Key on. It's over. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cranks up every turn. Doesn't even spin it without cranking the motor. So A1, I'll take it. So that's my first time dealing with the Bendix. I never really had to do that, but my Polaris Sportsman 500 does it every once in a while, which just spins and doesn't spin the motor. So I think there's actually parts for that one I can find, but or I could just do the same thing with this one, but yeah, you could just clean it off like I did and save the hassle of spending some money. So try that out. It worked for me. So I'm gonna put this back together, the foot cover here, and then we can focus on getting the cover here for the storage compartment in the battery. Got here, which goes directly over this and into the tabs here. Power Sports Nation. I believe it came off of a Polaris Trackhawk or Trackster or Hawkeye, one of the two. I guess 2006, 2007 was like the Hawkeyes. If that's what they're called, I forget. But I think after 2008 or after 2007, so starting 2008, it was like the Sportsman. So I think that's what I heard. I'm not sure, but it's really cheap considering it is a plastic part. Usually plastic parts are pretty expensive. That was like $60. It's a little broken here on the tabs, but it's all stated in the listing. Nothing, no surprises. They price it really well for an OEM part. Even supplied the brackets for it, which one of mine was bent, so that's a plus. I didn't know that came with it, but I like that. Compartment lid's on. Next thing I do need to do is this upper steering shaft bushing. I finally got that in the mail. Took forever. One got misplaced in shipping. I get a refund, and then I had to order another one. So 2 or 3 weeks in between that, I finally got the part. But I've never done one of these before. I have done one on the 700, and I have done one on a 450 YFC and a 700 Raptor. But I'm assuming I might have to take the front plastics off, because deep down inside there, you see it, See that little U-shaped? It's right down in there. Little plastic bushings go in there. I thought they'd be rubber, but they're plastic. That might be why they wear so easily. I'm used to them being rubber, but what I'm thinking is this plastic piece has to come off, the front plastic at least, and then maybe we'll have room to slip it in there. I'm not sure. Might have to take the gas tank off, which I'm thinking we might have to do here. Then after that, if I have time or daylight left, I have to do the I gotta change the fluid in the front diff, change the oil in it, and then change the fluid in the rear diff / transmission. So I want to get that all done before I take it out for a drive. All of that just to get this. I hope this part fits it, because the dude that I bought it from on eBay said that it was OEM Polaris, but this don't look like OEM Polaris. Yeah, it slides on there good. Just like that. That's how it slides on. Keeps it nice and tight. We'll see how good it holds. I don't really know. Oh, there we go. Nice and flush, so I don't know if I'll be able to get it on though. With the gas tank there, it's gonna be tough. Get it on. That's supposed to be hard or something? That's supposed to be hard? That was supposed to be hard, dude. Yes. Somehow got it lined up just right, but hey. Oh, she is on. I'll take that. The next hard part is getting this plastic piece on. Alright, so rear differential or transmission fluid didn't really need a fluid. It's pretty much at the top, so I'm barely putting it in there. And it's showing up on the dipstick here. See that? Yeah, it's not that dark either. It's pretty clear. So that turns out good. I really didn't need the fluid really at all. Front diff was a little low, but not terribly low. Still had fluid in there, but I do have a side-by-side and stuff, and it's Polaris, so I can use the fluid anyways. And then I also got the Polaris 500, so we can do, it won't be a waste of money anyways. So don't gotta do the rear gear case or rear transmission fluid, but I do gotta do the oil change, which is let me get around here. So oil filter is right there in the front. There's the filter right there. I did get one already ordered up. Hopefully it's the right one. If not, we're kind of crap out of luck. Dipstick obviously is right there, and it's super black. The oil is. Then the oil plugs on the bottom of the engine, very easy to get to. So let me get that all changed out, and then we'll see if I can get it cranked up and going. Maybe I'll put the plastic back on today, or I might wait till tomorrow so I can power wash it, and then we can put a battery on it and all that stuff. So let's do it. All right, there's the oil. Pretty dark. All right, oil filter's coming off. It was already pretty loose. I just hope I have the right filter. I hope it don't make a big mess. Okay. You see how dark that is? Look at that. But you see no metals in there. So that's good. Yeah, looks nice in there. So I'm gonna get the new one on and we'll fill it up with fluid.
The Polaris Sportsman 300. I took it for a drive in some trails, and I wish I got it recorded, but I didn't record anything. But one issue with this thing, so it starts up and runs really good. It's got good power and everything, but it does smoke when you go full throttle and stuff like that. So this thing probably does need some rings. This thing was smoking a ton. It was burning a bunch of oil. So let me start it for you. It starts up really nice too. Starts up really easy. It has full power. It just smokes. I don't know if it's valve seals leaking or rings. With how many hours it has, 293. I guess it could need a rebuild if it's on the stock motor. So. So yeah, you can kind of see it. The camera didn't pick it up as much like how I see it in person, but it is smoking a lot, and it smokes a hell of a lot more whenever I'm riding it, and mostly on diesel. So, you know, in diesel, the engine creates more vacuum, and it probably pulls oil past the rings, or it's pulling through the valve seals. So guess I'm doing a top end on this thing. So what I can do is get a compression tester, put oil, or check compression without oil in the cylinder, and then put oil in the cylinder and then test it again, see if it goes up. If the compression goes up, then it's gonna be the rings. But while I'm at it, I'm probably gonna do the valve seals anyways, because it's really pretty cheap while I'm already in there. Now we're gonna go wide open throttle while cranking, and then we'll see what we get for PSI. If you can see that, it's about 95 PSI. Polaris Sportsman 300. The compression range for a good, healthy running motor says about 120 to 140 PSI. And just doing the compression test, we got a little over 195. So it is on the low side, so it does need the top end probably rebuilt. Although it does have good power and starts and runs pretty fine, or pretty good. But we'll throw the oil in there, the cylinder, and see what happens. Yeah, I jumped up quite a bit. So now we're at about 130, almost 135. So that would be the range that we need to be in. So this thing needs rings. So let's just start tearing it down. The flywheel cover off, trying to get the top dead center. Ended up getting top dead center. So there is the timing.
straight up and down, lines up with the line right there on that cover with the lines on the sprockets. So this one was actually in time. I mean, it ran good, so I would think it was. Down here, I'm guessing you're looking at the T, which I couldn't find in the sight window and the cover, so I took the cover off. Ended up taking the valve cover off and then filling with the screwdriver in the spark plug hole, turning the motor until I got to the top of the piston, and I could feel the play in the rockers. So there is clearance there. Not sure, not gonna measure till after I'm done putting it in, or after I'm done putting the new top end on. So yeah, everything's in time. The cam chain is pretty tight. Be good. Now we just gotta take the chain tensioner off here, take the tension off the chain, unbolt the sprocket, the cam sprocket right here, pull it off, and then should be able to loosen up the 8 mils on this cylinder, or the cylinder head, and should come right off. So I also got to unbolt the exhaust, and then this should come off. I got it all out. So first, let me show you the crank, which is good. Up and down, no play. A little side to side, which is good and okay. Let's see. Here's the cylinder head. It's gonna be all good. There's a valve, it's really carboned up. So I'm gonna end up taking that apart and getting to the valve seals. I do have a valve compression tool, so I'll push that down, we can get the keepers out, and we can take that off and get to the seals. So I'm gonna order that just because I'm ready here. I don't want to be back into this motor if it still does smoke, so I'm not doing this again. Here is the cylinder, which there's still cross hatching a little bit, but you can see down there there's like a little bit of moisture got on there or something. So I will be cleaning that up too, with probably like a one of those drills to create the cross hatching. I will buy one of those and clean up that. And here is the piston with the rings and everything. They weren't stuck at all or anything like that. There's a few marks here and a few marks on this side. So getting a new piston, getting all the new rings, and I measured out to about 77.5. I believe that's stock. 77, 78, I believe that is stock. So I haven't really seen a lot of stock size pistons without ordering a cylinder, so we'll see what I find. I do just want to go with that because I'm not getting a new cylinder if I don't need it. So, but yeah, that's that. Finally got this thing torn apart. Really the main issue was the gas tank was in the way. I couldn't get to the cylinder head bolts that go all the way down to the bottom. So I ended up having to take off the whole front clip, loosening up the plastics, pushing that back and up, and finally got the gas tank out. And one of these vents came off, and it's a pain to get them back on because they're so tight on there. I don't even think that's the one I had to buy. I don't even think that's the right size, but I made it work. So it was just it's smaller than the original, so it's kind of a pain getting that on there, but we did get this all off and measure it out. So I really just wanted to do that just so I can get measurements and get sizes for what I need to buy. So that's all going to be coming in probably in about a week. But yeah, ended up needing a whole top end. So I did get it to run though and drive, so that's a plus. And I think I might need to crack into the belt cover just to look at that, because I think it was slipping a little bit, so I might need a belt. So yeah, I'm going to order some parts up, see what I can find. This bracket's bent, and obviously it's a cracked here. I think he might have wrecked it whenever he messed up the control arm and everything else on this side. So, but I'm fine with that. Got it all taken apart though. So next video or next couple of videos should be me putting this back together when I have all the parts, and should be up and back going again. So